here this way.
Yeah, over that way a little bit. Yeah.
There you go.
Okay. For decades, marijuana has been a widely recognized subject of debate, both in small-scale conversation and more significant areas like politics. Today, however, there is a larger demand than ever in our country for the widespread legalization of medical and recreational marijuana. A 2018 Center for American Progress poll showed that 68% of Americans believe that marijuana possession should be legalized. Those advocating for this law change present a multitude of facts and statistics that prove the benefits of this decision for our country. Firstly, I'll give a summary of the drug that's so widely discussed but not always widely understood. Marijuana refers to the dried leaves, stems, flowers, and seeds of the cannabis sativa or cannabis indica plant and was first cultivated in China and India. Sativas are known for a more invigorating and energizing effect that can reduce stress and anxiety. So to put it simply, sativa affects one's mind more than one's entire body. Indicas, on the other hand, are identified by what are referred to as full body effects, such as pain relief and reducing insomnia. Dr. Alan Carter for Healthline writes that cannabis contains almost 500 compounds called cannabinoids, of which 80 are used for medicine and science. THC is the chemical that produces marijuana's psychoactive effects, or a high. The amount of THC in marijuana can range from 1% to 8%. CBN is a compound used to treat symptoms of neurological conditions such as epilepsy and seizures, and CBG is used to treat anxiety, OCD, and PTSD. Lastly, CBD is the main compound extracted from medical marijuana. It is non-psychoactive and produces the most health benefits. The first reason for many people's support of legalizing marijuana relates to the country's massive amounts of arrests and lengthy incarcerations. Journalist Tom Engel writes that 663,667 marijuana-related arrests were made in 2018. Robert Reich for the American Prospect also notes that the costs associated with enforcing this ban reach nearly $14 billion a year. Furthermore, the criminal records that stem from marijuana-related arrests and convictions can have lifelong consequences that exclude people from equal access to jobs and economic opportunity. Normal director Eric Altery states, Americans should be outraged that police departments across the country continue to waste tax dollars and limited law enforcement resources on arresting otherwise law-abiding citizens for simple marijuana possession. The next reason to support a legalization of marijuana is its impressive list of benefits resulting from use. The most common benefit of medical marijuana use is treatment of pain. Dr. Peter Grinspan for Harvard Medical School writes that marijuana is extremely effective for the chronic pain that plagues millions of Americans, especially as they age. Marijuana is proven to be much safer than opiates and can even replace typical NSAIDs for people who are unable to take these kinds of medicines. More specifically, Dr. Grinspan lists marijuana's ability to treat multiple sclerosis and nerve pain in general, act as a muscle relaxant for sufferers of diseases like Parkinson's, and treat other causes of chronic pain such as endometriosis and fibromyalgia. The National Institute on Drug Abuse also claims that an 11-year study conducted from 1999 to 2010 conducted that states with medical cannabis laws experienced slower rates of increase in opioid overdose deaths compared to states without such laws. And lastly, a large motivation behind legalizing marijuana comes from the potential revenue and jobs that would be created. Ed Chung for the Center of American Progress writes that in Colorado, for example, the first $40 million received from tax on retail marijuana in fiscal year 2017 to 2018 was transferred to a fund for public schools. The remaining $27.8 million was directly put in place for public school construction. In fiscal year 2017, Washington state marijuana sales surpassed $1 billion in tax revenue. The revenue was primarily used to fund Medicaid, which secured health insurance for many low-income Washington residents. Analysis from New Frontier Data a firm that focuses on the marijuana industry, also found that the federal government would create an additional $131.8 billion in federal tax revenue over the next 8 years if cannabis were to be legalized in all 50 states. The economic growth would be pushed by increased demand on various industries. Farmers need warehouse space, and they purchase specialized equipment like lighting and irrigation for growth of the plant, and retailers rely on contractors and bookkeeping services to run business. In states like Washington and Colorado, legal marijuana has also led to a boost in some tourism sectors. A study for CNBC notes that by 2020, the marijuana industry is expected to create 250,000 new jobs. In 2017, the number of job post openings in the industry increased by 445%, outpacing both tech and healthcare. Some examples of the fastest growing careers in this industry include Director of Cultivation, Tender, Dispensary Manager, Trimmer, and Director of Extraction. So altogether, it can be concluded that legal marijuana would benefit our country in countless ways, including medical, scientific, and economic areas.